Welcome, community partners, to the Hennepin County Children's Mental Health System of Care Reporting Database tutorial. I am Fatima Mohammed, Family Coordinator on behalf of the Hennepin County System of Care in partnership with Hennepin County Children's Mental Health Collaborative. We're excited to guide you through the platform that will streamline the database process. Our goal is to make tracking and submitting the required information as easy and efficient as possible. In this tutorial, we'll cover everything you need to know about navigating the database, entering data for each session, and ensuring your reports meet all the key requirements. You'll learn how to input participant demographics, record session details, and capture key themes from group sessions, all in a few simple steps. We'll also walk you through the process of submitting your data monthly to ensure timely and accurate reporting. The insights you provide from parents and caregivers will help us identify trends, better understand children's mental health needs, and inform the system of care. By submitting your required data each month, you play an essential role in shaping a more effective and inclusive system of care for children and families in Hennepin County. If you have any questions or need support at any point, we're here to help. Now, let's dive in and get started on using the database with confidence.
Thank you, Fatima, for that welcome and introduction. My name is Cheryl Holm Hansen, and I provide evaluation and reporting support to the Hennepin County Children's Mental Health System of Care. I will be providing the overview of the requested data for these grants. The Hennepin County Children's Mental Health Collaborative and the Hennepin County System of Care team have designed an evaluation approach for these grants. The evaluation is designed to help us comply with requirements from the federal agency that is providing our funding. However, the information will also help support our goals to center the voices of parents and caregivers in our community as we strive to build a stronger system of care for families. The overall evaluation includes two primary components: a monthly tracking form and occasional requests to share your experiences and insights through either individual conversation with us or a convening of all funded agencies. This tutorial will focus on the monthly tracking form. We will be in touch with you regarding the other opportunities to share your experiences, which will be scheduled periodically through 2025. The monthly data collection form is available online and you can access it through this QR code. We will also provide you with the link by email. A form should be submitted monthly, even if you did not hold any sessions during the month. Forms should be submitted by the 10th of each month to summarize outreach events held in the previous month. For instance, a summary of events held in December 2024 should be submitted by the 10th of January 2025. Monthly reports should be submitted that summarize your outreach events held between November 2024 and August 2025. If you are doing several different things with parents and caregivers, you should fill out the form once per month for each different type of activity. For instance, if you are providing an ongoing education and support group for families, you can fill out one form per month that describes the ongoing series. You do not need to fill out the form for each individual event. However, what if you were offering periodic large community meals and presentations, along with opportunities for parents and caregivers to meet individually with staff to identify potential community resources that may be appropriate? These strategies are pretty different and reach different people, so you would do one form for the larger community events and one for the individual meetings. I'll walk through the form first, and then we'll provide a few examples of what a completed form might look like. The form begins with the name of your agency and the name and email address for the person providing the information. We will use this information if we need to get in touch with you to clarify anything in the form. The next questions on the form are used to describe the engagement sessions held during the previous month, including the number of separate sessions held, the total number of hours for these sessions, and a description of what the engagement work was. Your responses should provide a fairly clear picture of what you did, but it does not require an elaborate level of detail. A few sentences is generally sufficient to paint a picture of what the engagement session was, what community or populations were served, what services were promoted, and what methods were used for facilitation. We then want to know how many parents or caregivers attended at least one engagement session during the month. To the extent possible, each parent or caregiver should be counted once, even if they attended multiple events with you over the course of the month. We would also like to track how the engagement sessions were conducted, such as being in person or virtual. We understand that your agency may have a specific focus in terms of the parents or caregivers that you are hoping to engage. We also understand that events may be advertised broadly and may reach additional parents or caregivers. We would like to know if your events this month generally reach the intended group. If not, we would love to hear your perspectives about any challenges that may have been experienced in engaging the intended community and suggestions for how future outreach efforts could address these challenges. This information will help us identify best practices that we can share with grantees, as well as more broadly with our system of care partners. We would also like some information about the primary languages spoken by your attendees and the use of interpreters at your events. Finally, we would like to hear some highlights regarding key themes or issues that participants shared during the engagement sessions, including anecdotes and quotes if possible. Let's review a few quick examples of what this tracking might look like in practice. These examples are provided just to illustrate how to complete the form and the level of detail that we're looking for. They're just examples, however, and may not apply specifically to any one program. Our first example addresses an agency conducting peer-led ongoing education and support groups for Native American parents and caregivers. Sessions focused on supporting parents of children with mental health needs, including parenting strategies, traditional healing approaches, and effective advocacy with schools and providers. The education and support group generally meets every other week, so there were 2 engagement outreach events during this month. Each of these sessions was an hour and a half for a total of 3 hours of engagement. For this group, some parents and caregivers attend every session, while others attend only occasionally. In total, 22 different parents and caregivers came to at least one session during the month. Sessions were held entirely in person, and the families who attended this group were all Native American. The primary language spoken by participants was English, and no interpreters were used. Parents and caregivers talked about challenges in integrating traditional healing practices into their child's mental health care, and Western providers who dismiss the value of these practices. One caregiver said, "We used to heal trauma through dance and ceremony. This was outlawed and then eventually allowed again, but now it carries shame. I like having those elements there because I believe it helps to heal generational grief and trauma if we turn to culture as we did historically." Parents also talked about difficulty with schools not helping them to identify their child's needs and available supports. For our second example, we have an agency providing community outreach events every month in various locations, such as community centers, schools, and apartment buildings. Sessions include meals and community building and were designed to share information and resources with Somali parents about children's mental health services and systems. For this month, one session was held in a local apartment complex. Community events are held once a month. So one session was completed during this particular month. Each community lasts 2 hours for a total of 2 hours this month. Because sessions are held in different locations each month, generally each session has different people who attend. This month, a total of 33 parents or caregivers attended their session. The session was held in person with an option to join the educational components online. The session therefore used a hybrid approach. Because the events are held in public locations and widely advertised, parents and caregivers who are not Somali do attend some of the sessions. This was especially true this month. Because the session was held in an apartment complex with diverse residents, some other parents and caregivers who were not Somali also attended. The program decides to revise some of their marketing materials for the next event to more deeply emphasize the ways that the session is specifically tailored for Somali families. The primary language spoken by the participants was Somali. The event was facilitated in Somali, and an interpreter was available to translate information into English as needed. The primary focus of the parent conversation this month was on the difficulty of finding providers who speak Somali and the long wait list for services from a culturally competent provider. One parent noted that they could only find one appropriate provider, but that provider had a wait list of many months. Hopefully these examples provide an illustration of the type of information that we are looking for and the level of detail that is needed. If you have any questions about the evaluation requirements, including the monthly tracking or strategies that you may use to record some of this information on an ongoing basis, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, and either Fatima or I will be happy to work with you to help you get set up. Again, thank you very much for your participation in this process. We are optimistic that the information that we gather will help us not only comply with our federal funding requirements, but will help us gather useful information that we can share across Hennepin County with providers and systems to help them better improve the system of care for our children and families.